this weekend. You know, that's that one boat we had was pretty key, very dominating. I mean, there's nothing to do with him. He's very dominating. That's 11 straight in Black Point, 11 straight fights in Black Point. So it was a good show.
Really going out in style, or are you thinking about coming back?
Well, I mean, for right now, I'm finished for right now. For right now, I'm gonna relax for a while and then I'll decide. You know, I'll decide if I have some good nominees, I'll just consider. You know, for right now, I'm normal right now. I'm normal.
All right.
Yeah.
And that would bring the sales down on the 2018 Black Point Homecoming and Regatta, where the new name for the champs, the Winning K. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir. What you saying, bro?
Man, everything cool. Right here waking dead hot. What you doing for lunch?
You catch me here checking out the ZNS Shopping Network site? I looking at this out to sea deal.
Yeah? How do one go?
For $30, you get a $50 coupon. 20% off fish at the stand, plus you get $10 in minutes.
Man, you can't beat that.
Well, out to sea it is. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com. Select the island of your choice and shop anywhere, anytime.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, a traffic accident claiming the life of a wife and mother. Also, the country's top maritime agency investing millions of dollars in the Grand Bahama economy. And the Grand Bahama Health Services in preparation mode this hurricane season. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Roll-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, a two-car collision in East Lucaya yesterday has claimed the life of an adult female and has sent 3 persons to hospital. The tragic accident creating concern once again for police, as they say speed was indeed a factor in the deadly crash. Shay Philippe has more.
A fatal crash taking place on Manchester and Windermere Drive near Barbary Beach shortly before 6 p.m. Monday. The female driver of the white Daihatsu and her 2 children were involved in a head-on collision with a green Ford Fusion, which also was driven by a female. The driver of the white Daihatsu vehicle died at the scene. She has since been identified as Siobhan Roberts, an employee of the Road Traffic Department. Reports say she was on her way home from work when this mishap took place. Officer in charge of the traffic division for Grand Bahama, Superintendent Jeremy Henfield, picks up the story.
Once the police would have arrived at the scene, initial investigation would lead us to 2 vehicles. Both were traveling in the opposite direction, and we had a head-on collision. As a result of that, we had 1 female occupant, the driver of one of those vehicles, was injured and would have succumbed to her injuries at the scene. Right now, we're in the initial stages of this investigation, but we can most certainly tell you that speed would have played a factor in this accident.
Robert's 2 children sustained injuries, and the driver of the Ford Fusion also sustained injuries and were all taken to the hospital. Police say speed was a factor in this fatal accident. Superintendent Henfield is appealing to the motoring public to exercise caution on the streets.
There's no need to speed. We ask that you pay attention to what's going on around you. If you're not sure of the speed limit on the road, then by law it says that if there's no sign posted, you should be doing 30 miles an hour.
Henfield says traffic police will be continuing investigations in this latest fatality. Henfield also says they will continue to do their best to ensure that motorists are adhering to the rules of the road.
As you know, from January to now, we have been doing just speed checks and speed checks after speed checks. And so that is one of the initiatives that we took to ensure that, the public adhere to the speed limit of the road and to abide by the rules of the road. That's simply as all we ask, that you abide by the rules of the road. So unfortunately, today we would have lost a mother, a wife, sister. But again, we want to say to Grand Bahama, the motoring public in Grand Bahama, drive with caution and care.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jay. While the two children injured in yesterday's accident are students of Sunland Baptist Academy, the school issuing a statement this afternoon offering condolences to the Roberts family on the tragic death of Shavanya Roberts, recalling that she was a long-standing parent of the school who was always pleasant and smiling. The school also confirming that the injured male student has since been released from the hospital and is recovering, while the other, a female, is still hospitalized in stable condition. Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco James Albury contributing to the 2021-2022 budget debate in the House of Assembly on Monday afternoon. The Abaco MP focusing on progress as well as achievements made on the island of Abaco since Hurricane Dorian, as well as the way forward for that northern island. Albury also implored the government to continue to rebuild Abaco. Italia Hall reports.
Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco James Albury making his final contribution to the budget debates. The MP making it clear that he supports the government and the financial year budget. Albury noting that after several temporary fixes, he is pleased that the Dune Road stabilization project is complete. Albury also providing an update on power supply.
That Bahamas Power and Light has restored the majority of areas in Abaco post-hurricane as of now. With new infrastructure and generation capacity, Abaco is once again well on its way to having a reliable power source. Mr. Speaker, I know that water supply has been an especially challenging issue for my constituents, particularly in the Marsh Harbor area. I must ask for my constituents' continued patience as we go through the growing pains of repairing and expanding our community's water capacity and distribution.
And he says the new $1.5 million Imperial gallon tank in Marsh Harbor is nearing completion.
This storage tank, Mr. Speaker, is significantly larger than the existing storage tanks, which were badly damaged in Hurricane Dorian. The new pumping station and well fields will be solar powered, Mr. Speaker, signifying a transformative investment in sustainable and renewable power.
The Abaco MP commending the Minister of Finance and his team for constructing and producing a budget in what he calls a challenging economic environment as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. But he says while the Special Economy Recovery Zone order will be extended until the end of December 2021, additional time beyond December 2021 is needed for residents in Abaco.
The private sector in Abaco is perfectly capable and willing to rebuild. But we must, as an administration, make it as painless and as efficient as possible to encourage and spur Abaco's future growth and development. Further to encouraging development, Mr. Speaker, in this budget, Bahamian citizens in Abaco will benefit from tax-free real estate transactions on properties valued under $250,000. Non-citizens will also benefit from a reduced tax rate on transactions within this same price bracket.
Albury stating that those tax exemptions will bring relief to the island and will make it easier for Abaconians to purchase homes and properties, as proper housing remains a serious issue on the northern island. The Central and South Abaco MP, who started his political career in 2017, will not be seeking re-election in the next general election. Aubrey says Abaco will remain forever interwoven in his heart and thanks every constituent for the opportunity to serve them.
I fear that no matter what words I used, I'll never be able to properly convey just how honored I am to have served as their representative. I say to all members through you, Mr. Speaker, it is essential to our survival as a nation that Abaco be properly cared for. Abaco still needs time to heal. It will need your continuing support in the forms of incentives and concessions to facilitate its full recovery.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the construction of a new multi-million-dollar agency nearing completion. Elnet Maritime, the top maritime agency in the Bahamas, expressing confidence in the Grand Bahama community through a new facility and expansion of its operations. Tonight, we speak with the CEO of the company, who shares their journey of completing the building despite facing Hurricane Dorian and the global pandemic. It is an investment of $2.8 million. The newly constructed state-of-the-art building will be the new home of Elnet Maritime, which is the top maritime agency in the Bahamas. In just a few weeks, Ellie Hepburn, CEO, says the new building will facilitate the company's operations as well as future projects.
I was able to acquire the property from the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And after purchasing the property, I started looking at the options to build, either finance or come out of pocket. After about a month or so of deciding and speaking with my team, we made the decision to go through First Caribbean Bank and finance the building, which in the following day after we broke ground, and we've been going ever since. We've had our challenges. The first challenge was after we had confirmed the loan from First Caribbean Bank, they just went quiet on us. So after giving them about a month or so when they still required, we decided, okay, we spoke with Spartan Contractors, Deshaun Smith, a really good friend of mine since high school. And we said, okay, we'll just do it out of our pocket.
The building's theme color is red and blue. Red, he says, signifying the blood of Jesus, and the blue, the maritime industry. The challenges also included Hurricane Dorian, which he says did not have a significant impact on the building, followed by the pandemic.
Fortunately for us, though, our industry wasn't affected by the lockdown. As a matter of fact, we saw a great increase in activity, especially offshore vessels coming to lay berth while waiting for the pandemic to, subside and whatnot. And construction wasn't hindered too much, but we had a problem in terms of inflation.
But despite the challenges, what was most important was ensuring that the building was constructed right the first time. And here's what the new facility will house.
Well, we have our executive account area, we have our operations department, we have a bunkering and lightering division, we have a trucking and warehouse team, the logistics team, we have our disbursement accounts team, and then we have our executive area upstairs. So, and then once we already set up our freight forwarding division, Bahama Customs will actually be stationed from our building. We'll just have to put the request into the government, so we'll have an officer station here. Goods will come in here bonded to be transshipped to other areas, and therefore Customs will have to be here to make sure they protect the facility.
And the company is already eyeing future projects.
Some of the services that we'll be providing is just not stuff that's been done before. So we're not going to target the market that already exists, but we're going to actually create new markets from this location.
30 persons are currently a part of the Elnet team, but an additional 15 to 20 persons, once new projects come on stream, are expected to be hired. Deshaun Smith, general manager of Spartan Construction Company, is proud of the workmanship at the site.
Definitely felt proud, an honor to be able to be a part of it. An honor to see somebody at his age, what he's doing with his company, what he's doing for the community, the island, and definitely respect him as a business person, somebody that I get a lot of advice from. We have a lot of late night talks well into the morning. In high school, we used to actually have a lot of conversation about our respective industries. So while he was out there at the harbor, I was actually in the field in construction. So definitely, if anybody could appreciate the journey that he's had with Elnet, it's definitely me.
Final touches are expected to be completed in the next few weeks, and an opening ceremony will take place at a later date. In other news, we are well into the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and the Grand Bahama Health Services say they are in full preparation mode. You may recall that the hospital was decimated following Hurricane Dorian and was repaired only recently recommissioned in April. Administrator Sharon Williams says they have reviewed all of the health facilities on the island and is satisfied that they are in a far better position this time around.
We have had our hurricane preparedness meeting with our corporate office, with our managers, and also we have already had meeting with the Grand Bahama local committee. We are definitely making sure that we fortify our services to meet the needs of any. I wouldn't say any, because certainly Dorian was a surprise, but as much as possible we're being prepared for anything that passes our way.
Now, she adds that checks have been made to ensure that critical infrastructure at the Rand Memorial Hospital are fully functional.
We're making sure that all of our generators are functional. We have our water supply. As you would have known, we would have improved with our local donors and our international donors, the water systems for our hospital, for the 8 Mile Rock Clinic, as well as the clinics in the east end and west end of the island.
While officials maintain that preparedness remains key in mitigating any pending disaster, residents are being advised to have a plan in place and purchase the necessary supplies before it is too late. Jamila Mizik visited the various hardware stores to see if residents are indeed shopping early.
It is better to be prepared than sorry. That's the message officials stress to residents every year ahead of the Atlantic hurricane season. Well, our ZNS News team visited a few hardware stores on the island, and they say they are well equipped to meet the demands of their customers and help them prepare this hurricane season.
We're very prepared. We've had product rolling in continuously. Supply and demand has been a little bit of a challenge recently. Vendors are giving us a heads up on availability on certain goods, and scarcity has become a main factor. But for the most part, we've been getting steady supplies in, and we are as prepared as possible. We have everything you could possibly need to kind of, be prepared from inside the home, from batteries, flashlights, lanterns, generators. All of those goods are very well stocked, and they're available now, so I would suggest coming in, having a look, and starting collecting those things now.
Dolly Madison is prepared for the hurricane season. In fact, if you notice when you came in here, there is a sign on the billboard that tells you that the hurricane supplies are in store. So we do have all of the basic hurricane supplies for our customers, and we're ready for the hurricane season.
Third Dimension is very prepared. We're getting some more solar panel fans. We have batteries, flashlights, plywoods, and everything that you would need, generators, everything that you would need to prepare for before the storm and even after for the recovery process, should it come.
Now, they say that in recent years, they have seen an increase in residents coming out and shopping early, which sends a good message that more and more Bahamians are not taking these storms lightly.
I think it's fair to say that we've kind of learned from past experiences that it certainly does, is better for us to be prepared early. So we have absolutely seen persons taking it more seriously, coming in a lot earlier and starting to prepare ahead of time. That would be absolutely one of the cautions to take, is that, things are moving very, very fluidly. And obviously we've learned from the past that it definitely is something that you don't want to take for granted. You want to prepare ahead of time. So starting to think about things that need to be done around the house to secure the home, supplies that are needed, you want to start kind of investigating all of those goods as soon as possible.
Persons have been shopping from the beginning of the year, picking up little bits and pieces, water storage containers, gas storage containers, picking up their little candle mattresses and what's not. They have been getting their little gas canisters for the portable stoves and what's not. So I think the Bahamian public and our residents in Grand Bahama on the whole are very conscientious about the devastation that we could experience during the storm, and so they've been well prepared.
It's very important to shop early, simply because you don't have to go through the long lines and, you know, all the cluster with customers bombarding stores trying to get last-minute supplies. So once you come in advance, you could get your stuff and you could sit back and just wait upon perhaps the storm arrival, if it should it come.
Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Hey, Pai, what you doing, Pai? Don't jump. Don't jump. You all right? Man, I so stressed out. I can use a massage.
Oh, no. Don't look at me. I don't do them things. Why don't you check out the ZNS Shopping Network? They may be able to help you with something like that.
You think they have something for that?
Yeah, man, for sure.
For New Day Spa?
That's the place where the guys they must rub you down and fill you up.
Look, I am buying this coupon for the hot stone massage. Renew Day Spa it is. I'm going.
Hey, look here. Wait for me. I rolling with you.
Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com. Select the island of your choice and shop anywhere, anytime.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
Has math been stressing you or your child out lately? Well, cheer up. Relief is now available through the Math Professor and more. Our team brings a wealth of knowledge and a proven success record. Looking to develop communication skills and confidence when speaking to an audience? We can help with that too. Give us a call today at 602-6851 or 727-1257. You deserve a break, and we're here to help.
Get fresh produce, honey, pepper sauce, food, and more at Our Garden Farmers Market Fest on Saturday, June 12th, 9 a.m. Grand Bahama Community Park at Princess.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Bahamas Union of Teachers is still mourning the loss of former educator and trade unionist Donald Simonet. Simonet, the former president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, passed away last month. Speaking on the life and contributions of Simonet is Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quinton LaRota, who says he not only knew him on a personal level, but notes that he was a great inspiration to him as well.
I always admired his strong stance, the way he was, and his reasonableness as well. He was strong, but he was reasonable. And throughout my time in training to be a teacher and as an educator, he was always a listening ear, always willing to give a helping hand, always sending me words of encouragement. And he set a good example as a labor leader. He started off as he was a principal while he was president, and we named an award after him in Grand Bahama called the Donald Simonet Award, and it was for the administrator that demonstrated the best industrial relations.
LaRota adds that Simonet's legacy will be a great one and that he will truly be missed.
He went from the union to be director of labor and all of those things that happened professionally. But I have a personal tribute to pay to him. And publicly, I want to just thank him for all of the lives he's touched. From the Bahamas Union of Teachers, to the Department of Labor, to the Credit Union, where he was chairman for some time. And that has been an organization that has assisted thousands of teachers over the years. And so to Donald Simonet and to his family, thank you for your contribution. God bless you and keep you, and may you enjoy your eternal rest. And for those of us who left behind, we will be blessed if we could only follow partially in your example.
Simonet passed away on Thursday, May 27th. And that's a look at stories making news. Now it's time for your sports check with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. It was a jam-packed weekend in sports. Let's start at the softball park. The Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association kicked off its season on the weekend after not playing for nearly 16 months. On Saturday, immigration enforcers defeated Pat Uniforms Reds in a close one, 8-7. Also, the Rand Shock Wavers edged out GBPC by 1 run, 8-7 as well. On Sunday, it was expressed all over CLA Heavy Hitters. The final score on that game, 12-4. Scores from the Rising Stars Girls Softball Development League in coach pitch, girls like Diamonds got the W against the Black Eagles 17-15. The Black Eagles was able to then bounce back to edge out the West End Marlins 11-10. The league baseball just completed week 7 of its schedule. League spokesperson Trevor Russell says, so far, so good.
This season went better than expected. We're basically 3/4 the way through the season right now. The boys started off a little rusty, but now they're really going with it now. It's looking pretty good. We have about 4 games every Saturday. And along with the 4 games every Saturday, we have, each team has about 15 players on it. And then we have volunteer coaches, that'll be 4, like 2 in the dugouts. And then we have a parent who's gonna be there to, just to make sure that everything goes well as far as, safety protocols going inside the dugouts.
From the field now to the courts, fresh from being named WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Month for the month of May. Jonquel Jones now named WNBA Conference Player of the Week, leading her team to a 2-0 record during that stretch. Jones averaged 27 points per game to go along with 10 rebounds and 2 blocks per game. And finally in sports, Grand Bahama, we all know Coach John Terry Wildgoose, former national team coach and Special Olympics coach. Goose was recently diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Wildgoose has been involved in the sporting community in Grand Bahama for decades, and he now needs our help. For those persons that can assist, you can do so by donating to his GoFundMe page or contact his son DeJohn Wildgoose at 805-9673. Again, that's 805-9673. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Grand Lacayan Hotel is open and ready to serve you for live entertainment, happy hour, seafood Fridays, and Sunday champagne brunch. Phone 350-5000 for more information.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Wes, I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Take your time, take your time. You sure, right here?
Money short.
You sure? All right.
Money short.
Okay, okay. Miss.
You know Lou's a buying, right?
Oh, well, you must be getting kids mealy. Man, I ain't bring no money like that. Just you know you greedy.
Well, today is your lucky day.
Oh.
Check out the ZNS Shopping Network. See what deals they have on food.
Look here. Boy, Madcap got some super deals. Check it out. You got a $25 coupon for 15 and a $20 coupon for 10.
Well, Madcap it is.
All right. Hey, I roll him at you, eh?
Log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and get your deals today.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
You are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you so much for your support. And this one goes out to Renato Delva. I think it's Delva. He works right here at the corporation. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, the Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, a legal blow to efforts to demolish shantytowns. COVID-19 vaccines on the way from the U.S. The CDC downgrades the Bahamas. And an F&M MP clears the air on events leading up to her resignation. Those stories and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, returns.
Dr. Pinder. During this global pandemic, we ask for you to be responsible. As we fight the COVID-19 virus together, we would like to encourage you to do the following. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth and nose with a flex elbow or tissue when coughing and sneezing. Practice social distancing by staying 6 feet apart. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and if you must go out, wear a mask. We stay here for you. Please stay home for us. To those of you on the front line, we salute you as we continue this fight together.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with GD Media Solutions and this television station.
Of the news brought to you by BTC's Dollar Holla Deals.
Good Tuesday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Manning, sitting in for Mukesh Lopinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for making us a part of your evening. Cease and desist. Certainly not the news government wanted to hear. But that's the order Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson has handed down in the case of demolishing unregulated Abaco Shantytown communities. In the process, she also extended a Shantytown injunction to cover all of Abaco. In her ruling Monday, Grant Thompson determined that while the government has the authority to demolish shantytowns, it must, however, bring evidence of any breach of law before it can proceed. The ruling coming as the Supreme Court continues a judicial review on shantytowns throughout the country. She said, quote, "I am of the view that the judicial review application before the court ultimately affects every shantytown in Abaco, and as such should be extended to cover all of them," end quote. However, the Supreme Court Justice denied Queen's Counsel Fred Smith's application to extend the injunction to cover all shantytowns across the Bahamas, reasoning that not enough supporting evidence was produced. According to Justice Thompson, quote, "The injunction was originally imposed by the court to protect the rights of individuals whom the applicants allege were affected by the apparent policy of the government to eliminate shantytowns in its entirety in New Providence and the Abacos," end quote. The judge went on to say there's no evidence to suggest shantytown residents in other areas of the country are affected by government's actions. Well, as you can imagine, yesterday's Shantytown Supreme Court ruling fueling a swift response from the government. Cleopatra Murphy reports.
Dangerous is how Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Desmond Bannister, branded the ruling handed down by Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson, calling for government to cease demolition of Abaco shantytowns, unless, of course, it can show the court that there has been a breach of the law.
What that has done is she has usurped the statutory powers of the building control officers in the Ministry of Works. She has usurped the statutory powers of officers throughout the various ministries in the country. And the judge is now determining whether they could carry out their duties in accordance with the law. That has to be wrong. The second thing is this. It is now open season for anybody to go on any land and put up any structure they want and not comply with the law.
Bannister says anyone can now put a structure on anyone's land even if they lack a permit. Further, building control inspectors cannot act unless they make an application to demolish before Grant Thompson. Charging that the decision is both flawed and wrong in law, Bannister says government expects to have it overturned.
There were two injunctions in place. The first injunction prohibited the government from demolishing shantytowns and buildings and structures, etc. The second injunction stopped people from building those structures. Every one of those buildings that we were demolishing on the farm was built contrary to the court's injunction.
Bannister says while Grant Thompson has not extended the injunction to other islands, complainants can return to the court to seek an extension on the injunction.
Right now, you cannot enforce the laws of the Bahamas virtually anywhere, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. That is the frightening part of it.
Attorney General Senator the Honourable Carl Bethel also vowed that government would appeal the shantytown.
Respectfully disagree with the reasoning of the learned judge. We respectfully disagree with the conclusions arrived at by the learned judge, and we will be appealing or seeking leave from the judge to appeal on the basis of urgency to the Court of Appeal, where we hope that this matter will be definitively resolved.
A judicial review of shantytowns across the country is ongoing. Whether Grant Thompson's ruling reflects what that final judgment will be, Bannister responded this way.
I don't know what the judge's final decision is, but certainly this ruling doesn't make sense.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Member of Parliament for North Abaco, the Honourable Darren Henfield, equally troubled about the implication of the Supreme Court's ruling on Abaco shantytowns, particularly with the hurricane season underway. He reasons, though, that while the government doesn't like the ruling in the Bahamas, there is separation of powers between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative branches.
From what I understand of the judgment, having perused it very briefly, the court simply wants us to maintain the status quo. But the court judgment was clear in the first instance in that we would demolish no old existing structures, but that there would be no new builds. And I think the court is asking us now to come back and ask its permission before we demolish. That's where we are. I'm concerned about the environmental degradation. I'm concerned about unregulated buildings. I'm concerned that we're in the hurricane season again, and we saw what Dorian did with shanty communities in Abaco. We were there. We saw it, many of us. The mud, the pee, sand banks, all destroyed, portions of the farm, lots of lives lost. That's the interest of the government, to regulate buildings in the Bahamas.
Meantime, the Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, James Albury, acknowledging in his budget contribution in the House of Assembly Monday afternoon that the country's two largest shantytowns sit right in his constituency. And he said he has no ill will toward those residents, but he supports the push to demolish all illegal structures in Abaco.
It is my sincere hope that working with local government, non-government organizations, charitable groups, and the wider community, that we may transform the site of what was formerly known as the Mud into a community green space with a memorial area for the lives lost in Dorian, so that we may never forget. I have already been approached by members of local government in this matter, and I intend to work with them and offer them my full support so that we may achieve this goal.
Now to another story making national news this Tuesday. Things are looking up for the Bahamas when it comes to the Centers for Disease Control's advice about traveling here. The Atlanta-based agency has lowered its COVID-19 level to 3 or high for the island chain. That's one notch lower than where it's sat. According to the CDC, level 3 requires travelers to make sure they're fully vaccinated before heading here. Now, in the case of the unvaccinated, they're advised to avoid non-essential travel to the Bahamas. Further, the CDC finds that due to the current situation here, all travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading COVID-19 variants. They're also asked to follow recommendations or requirements in the Bahamas, including mask wearing and social distancing. The CDC uses COVID-19 data as reported by the World Health Organization and other official sources to make its determinations. Now, in the event a destination doesn't provide data, their level is designated as unknown. In such a case, travelers are advised to follow level 4 recommendations. Well, the CDC's new travel advisory comes right on time as Royal Caribbean's Adventurer of the Seas is now docked at the Prince George Wharf. The cruise liner's arrival today is the prelude to the official start of home porting in the Bahamas this Saturday. Tourism stakeholders have played a pivotal role in marking this reality. Our Amajal Knowles joins us now from the wharf with details. Good evening, Amajal.
And good evening, Bahamas. We are live here at the Wood Rogers Walk, where in a matter of days, the Ministry of Tourism is set to launch its inaugural home porting voyage, set to revitalize downtown Nassau. Currently joining me is the Executive Director at the Ministry of Tourism, Dr. Kenneth Romer. Dr. Romer, can you just tell us a bit about the activities scheduled for this week?
Well, first of all, let me say how excited we are. I think every Bahamian ought to feel a sense of excitement after a 15-month absence from visible cruise lines in our port. We are pleased that we are going to welcome our Royal Caribbean, who are really going to be the first one to participate in this very historic moment for the country, for the Bahamas. You know, at the end of 2019, the Bahamas actually welcomed a record-breaking 7.2 million visitors to our shore. Out of that number, 5.5 million came again through our cruise ports. The port of Nassau, of course, experienced a sizable amount of persons coming in. We are now seeing a very innovative initiative called home porting. Now, this comes ahead of the planned formal return to sail from our major cruise lines, but there are two vessels who are actually going to be a part of home porting. Royal Caribbean, who has enjoyed a 50-year wonderful relationship with our country, is actually going to be kicking it off. So you'll see they're going to be coming here. It brings incredible opportunity for our country. First of all, there are many benefits from home porting. We are looking at the very obvious. I think that persons would have realized that downtown Nassau has been a virtual ghost town over the past 15 months. We're now seeing traffic trickling back in. The dynamics of downtown is going to change over the next 2 or 3 days. 1,000 plus passengers are going to come through our airport. They are actually going to be joining Royal Caribbean on the inaugural cruise, going from New Providence into Coco Key, into Cozumel, into Grand Bahama, coming back into Nassau. And so for the first time in our country's history, we are doing something that the Ministry of Tourism has really been trying to do for a while, a very innovative approach. They are now combining our traditional stopover arrivals with our cruise. So for the first time, we are having our cruise stopover in sizable numbers. What that means simply is this. Cruise visitors come in for a few hours and then they leave. Air stopover
come in and they spend those days in our hotels, spending, of course, an incredible amount of money, of course, in the destination. What this does is that we are actually having our cruise visitors coming in, contributing again to cruise tourism, but they are now also spending money in destination, spending time in our hotels, visiting our restaurants. Many, of course, are extending their journey, so we're combining our air arrivals, our traditional stopover with our cruise arrivals, and it speaks volume about how we at the Ministry of Tourism have planned to contribute in a more sustainable way again to our economic growth and development.
Well, you heard it here first. Downtown Nassau set to be revitalized and up and jumping once again.
Still to come tonight, the Red Cross shares its concerns about the COVID-19 pandemic, and we've got more on today's budget debate. More stories and more when we come back.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
The news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC do it again.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Bounce. It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. Lowest consumer loan rates in the country. Trying to bank with no stress, we make it too easy. It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. Apply today for a B.O.B. Visa credit card, debt consolidation loan, or easy top-up. B.O.B. Your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The Bahamas is set to receive more COVID-19 vaccine doses and possibly options beyond just AstraZeneca. The Minister of Health today sharing more details on the United States government's plans to share its doses with the global community and how soon the plan will come to fruition right here in the Bahamas. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
The Bahamas is set to receive some of the 7 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine the U.S. has promised to share with the world by the end of June. Minister of Health, the Honorable Renwood Wells, speaking outside Cabinet Tuesday, could not disclose just how much the country will be gifted.
We're not completely sure as to which vaccine we're going to receive. We're going to receive it on 2 tracks. One, there's the bi-level track with the United States, which means directly country to country. We're going to be receiving. We know that the United States is offering both AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, but we're not exactly sure which one of those that they are offering to the Bahamas. We are in discussions on that, and we should have some word for the Bahamian people very, very soon. But we will be receiving those vaccines by the end of the month.
The expected donation comes as the Bahamas continues to battle a third wave of COVID-19, with local numbers now surpassing 12,000. Wells says the U.S. is also donating vaccines to the World Health Organization through the COVAX facility, and countries across the globe will benefit.
They're going to be doing it on a per capita population basis. So we're expecting that we're going to be able to receive vaccine that route. But we also have in train as well. This week, we should be getting, I believe we may be getting some vaccines from PAHO, which is the last trench of the 100,000 we were supposed to receive of AstraZeneca from PAHO through the COVAX facility, which is about some 32,800 doses.
The Minister of Health previously shared that government is looking to secure doses of the Pfizer vaccine, the only one currently approved for emergency use in children under 18.
That is the government's direct contact with Pfizer. We're going to be looking at that particular scenario because that is out-of-pocket money that has to come out of the consolidated fund to pay for. So we're going to look at the amount of vaccines we're going to get from the United States, the kind of vaccines we're going to get from the U.S. before we fully engage with Pfizer to know exactly how much of the Pfizer vaccine we would need based on what it is that we're going to receive from the U.S. and through the COVAX facility.
The most recent COVID-19 vaccination progress report showed that 62,183 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine had been administered. Of that, 13,749 people had been fully vaccinated. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
A COVID-19 spread in a hurricane shelter is a primary concern for Red Cross officials this hurricane season. Acting Director General Lisa Pinder says while the Red Cross provides shelter management, making sure families and children are safe is crucial in the event disaster strikes.
If you can just look at the shelter and there's a family involving vulnerable individuals, and you can just cross over, it's not so safe if there are people who may not understand the boundaries involved. So if we thought about providing petitions where maybe even just a drawstring along some pipes, PVC, in order to provide petitions.
Now to news from Parliament. The government's agenda for housing and the environment for the upcoming budget cycle outlined in the House of Assembly. As Minister responsible and Member of Parliament for Marathon, the Honourable Ramal Ferreira resumed debate this afternoon. He also commended the Minister administration for launching the Young Professionals Housing Subdivision set for Western New Providence.
What you have is the most innovative, groundbreaking government housing system ever devised thus far in this country. And what's going to happen in the result is more Bahamian homeowners, more young people having that dream fulfilled. And so this is why we will seek public-private partnerships to further develop the remaining parcels at Carmichael Village and those in Abaco.
Not mincing words on her current political status was the Member of Parliament for Seabreeze, Lanisha Roll. After not being ratified by the Free National Movement for the next general elections, the former cabinet minister said she had every intention of continuing to serve the people of Seabreeze, but admitted the party has exercised its powers the way it felt. She also clarified the circumstances that led to her decision to resign from the cabinet.
Serving as Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture and formerly the Minister for Social Services and Urban Development, with the guidance of the senior public servant responsible for finances of the ministry, I gave approvals only that were in accordance with the provisions of the Cabinet's Manual of Responsibility, the Government of the Bahamas General Orders, particularly following Sections 9 and 10 on the Rules of Conflict of Interest, and procedures specified in the Financial Administration and Audit Act as amended in 2010. Mr. Speaker, no ministry I kept held money. I want to make that clear because the public seems to think that there was some chest of money that a minister holds. I requested clarification or further clarification of the statement made by the Cabinet, which incorrectly insinuated that my resignation was as a result of some investigation. The good member for Kalani to some degree clarified in a public statement to the press that there was no investigation concerning this member. I thank him.
The global pandemic throwing a vicious blow on regional small island developing states, but by the same token, it has presented opportunities for additional growth and social development. It's the view of Social Services and Urban Development Minister, the Honourable Frankie Campbell, as he chaired the 40th meeting of the Council for Human and Social Development on Gender. Campbell reasoning that there must be greater focus on resilience on the front end and that there must be sustainable preventative programs. Minister Campbell acknowledges the meeting allowed the Caribbean community to put its brain together to devise and develop the kind of strategies and programs to address any potential negative socioeconomic fallout that could be associated with any future crisis. The Bahamas Mortgage Corporation in a bind, so to speak, in order to continue helping prospective homeowners. Those having already been granted loans must pay up, and therein lies the problem. Here's Makush Lupinder.
No work, no pay. It's as simple as that. Or is it that some Bahamians are just delinquent? Whatever the case, as Bahamas Managing Director Philip Haven tells it, there are a lot of matters before the courts. To put a number on it, that's about 40 cases with the BMC preparing to take legal action against another 160 people.
We started to invite our customers to come in and to sort of like enter into some agreement with us before we took the matter to court. There were some people who came in, and what we did is we were able to restructure the mortgage, which will allow them to stay in the home and, come up with an affordable payment plan. There were others, of course, who ignored our request, and, we had to end up taking them to court. Now, in taking them to court, usually the judge will look at BMC's position, they will hear the client's response, and based on the information provided, they would give us an order where, vacant possession is granted to us.
And according to Haven, the court has granted quite a number of vacant possession orders, but considering the pandemic, the corporation held the brakes on making such a move.
We allowed them to remain in the home because, we were going to take them from a bad situation to a worse situation because you're putting them out of the house and you're sending them out in the open. So we were literally standing down on all of those orders. And we have been reaching out to them and telling them, hey, look, we have a vacant possession. See if you could come in and arrange some sort of a restructure or what you could work on, because eventually this pandemic will be gone and, things will return to normal, and then we will go back and do what we started doing.
And paying back is crucial, considering the BMC has its own obligations to fulfill.
The Bahamas Mortgage Corporation have a lot of bonds that they need to repay, and it was expected that, the money from these bonds be put into mortgages and that people pay the mortgages. Them not paying the mortgages, could ultimately have an impact on the bond. We're just trying to get people to understand the big picture. We provided you with the mortgage. You were quite willing and able to come in and produce everything to us when we were looking at the mortgage. And if you have a hiccup, the same way you came in and discussed the application with us, come in and let us know what your current situation may be, and we have a plan for you.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Probably already know that BTC has the most superior, fastest broadband service anywhere. Super fast internet speeds available to our customers on our fiber network. But did you know about the great deals that exist and how easy it is to join this exciting, expanding network?
It's extremely exciting here at BTC. We're excited not only for ourselves, but for our customers. Customers in our fiber footprint are getting a minimum of 100 megabytes per second. Customers can come into our brick and mortar locations. In Nassau, we have the Southwest Plaza, the Marathon Mall location, as well as our neighborhood locations. We also have locations in Freeport, Grand Bahama, as well as Abaco, and all throughout the Bahamas. And aside from that, customers that are not wanting to come into the store can take advantage of our virtual store where we do business online through the web. Customers can do anything that they want to do in the brick and mortar location virtually. In a time like this is definitely mind-blowing for our customers because we're in a pandemic. Most persons are either working from home or have children that are doing schooling from home, and definitely we need faster internet speeds, of course, at a better price. And so that within itself is exciting for our customers, and it's exciting to be able to offer it to our customers.
This is a huge investment BTC is making in communities across the Bahamas. We may live on different islands, but for BTC, it's a unified vision with you in mind. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Continue to be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
The Red Cross Society enhancing the natural disaster response initiative for the hurricane season. LaDon Davis has this update.
Not to scrutinize, but just identify the gaps where we need to strengthen, and that's how the project came about.
The Preparedness for Effective Response project is a bilateral initiative between the Bahamas and the Canadian Red Cross Society. It's a welcome partnership, PER officer Tizelle Lightbourne says will enhance the knowledge of volunteers through effective communication and training and improve the way we respond to future disasters.
We have an opportunity to train staff and volunteers on essential topics related to disaster preparedness. Last week we had an infection prevention and control training where we talked about what considerations to include when dealing with, let's say, providing support with shelter management or simple things that you can do in your everyday life to prepare and protect yourself as we're in the COVID-19 pandemic. We also offer trainings on protection, gender and inclusion, so looking at considerations for different vulnerable groups that exist within the Bahamas, whether it's the elderly, people who are immunocompromised, the Haitian Creole-speaking population.
Lightbourne says Hurricane Dorian was one of the strongest and deadliest storms in our history and changed the game in disaster preparedness. However, she hopes the unit will develop an emergency operations center that will make goods and additional services more accessible to residents throughout this country.
So across the Bahamas, we're working to implement this same activity, but through our strategy 2030, so our plan for the next 10 years, we specifically want to focus on 5 islands that we've identified in this strategy, which include Abaco, Grand Bahama, Exuma, Eleuthera, and Anagua. And so we're putting special focus on those areas as they're spread across the Bahamas in terms of regions. And then once we build their capacity, the hope is that they can then lend support to the surrounding family islands.
Meantime, thousands of residents have expressed concerns over the long wait time that goods are transported to islands hardest hit after a storm has passed. Lightbourne explained the process and assured the public that the matter is being addressed.
So after a storm has passed, we wait to get the all clear so that we can dispatch our disaster relief teams. And then what those teams do is conduct needs assessments based on damage to understand what the needs are, what services we need to render, and then we would act accordingly.
LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
Eden Farms continuing to change the game when it comes to modernizing agriculture. Amajal Knowles tells us more in part 2 of his series.
Well, in yesterday's sit-down with tech-enabled farm company Eden Farms, we learned how the Upstart organization managed to maneuver throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, today, farm manager Letitia Gibson walks us through the technology that powers the unique hydroponic container.
Technology is a significant factor
It sends alerts to our farmhand app that we can have on our phones and our tablets that we can carry around remotely and be away from the farm and know what's going on. So we can tell how the sensor readings are picking up the different parameters in the farm, and we can also tell the different alerts that come from Freight Farms' farmhand app. We utilize this system called the Agritech, and that basically is the brain of the entire farm. We have a screen for each farm that is connected to the different outputs and all of the hydro sensors and the climate sensors. And also we can program this Agritech system to tell the system how long we want the day length hours to be, how long we want the water to run, how long to have the lights running, and also we can keep everything automatic, so everything's on a timer.
Now, as for climate control,
because of the programming that we've set, the farm knows to have these certain parameters. So the AC would be triggered to turn on and maintain a certain temperature in the farm. We have a dehumidifier. We have air blowers and fans that assist with ventilation and airflow, which is important in terms of crop spacing and how water is transported through the plants and into the air, back through the AC's condenser and stored in the water tank.
As many of us are aware, light's essential in plant growth, but with no access to direct sunlight, the question is, how do crops at Eden Farms flourish?
So we have to supply our plants with UV rays from visible light, and we utilize two of the light wavelengths, so red light and blue ultraviolet light. We supply to the plants, and we have 112 boards, LED boards, that is you'll find throughout the main grow area of the farm. The seedling area also has their own board of LED lights with a 4-to-1 ratio of red and blue light. So what these light boards actually provide is 250 micromoles per meter second squared of light energy, and that is photosynthetic photon flux density. That is basically distance between the plants and the light panels. And
now, for more info on Eden Farms, you can visit them at edenfarms.com, on the IG page at Eden Farms. For ZS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Today is World Oceans Day, a United Nations sanctioned effort to conserve the world's oceans and their vast resources for generations to come. This year's theme, the ocean, life and livelihoods. Desmond Saunders went to a beach cleanup in South Beach today to mark the milestone.
World Oceans Day, celebrated annually on June 8th, is more than an event. It is a movement. After all, oceans are considered the lungs of the planet and are a major source of food and medicine.
Our environment is definitely important to sustaining our country and our economy, so I would urge Bahamians to definitely see the importance.
A passionate plea from Lauren Ashley Hasty, one of 30 volunteers involved in World Oceans Day cleanup on South Beach Tuesday.
We are all about being a part of our community, going out into the streets, the highways, and the byways, just helping out where we can.
The ocean, life, and livelihoods is a theme for this year's World Oceans Day, a very significant issue for the Bahamas as ecotourism remains a driver of our local economy. Corinne Mullings is from the Kit Allen Conservation Institute.
We are an ocean nation. The Bahamas is an ocean nation, and in order for us to survive in the coming years, we need to be able to protect and preserve it. And having beach cleanups just like this plays a part in protecting our marine environment.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture is delighted to join the rest of the world in shedding light on this very important issue.
So we're celebrating the ocean. We're bringing awareness to keeping our ocean clean and also climate change. Well, our work today, we will be learning about trash data collection. We'll also be collecting garbage, of course. And then it'll also be an opportunity for the staff to, come together.
With 90% of big fish populations depleted and 50% of coral reefs destroyed, now is a time for you and I to become involved in protecting and conserving our marine environment. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
And Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation, better known as BREEF officials, holding their own activities to celebrate World Oceans Day.
One of the things that we wanted to do was really just not just focus on the day, but kind of have our own World Oceans Month. And so we've been partnering with different organizations, different government agencies for their own private cleanups. We were this year able to release a beach cleanup guide to help not only just encourage businesses, but to empower them to host their own cleanups. And that's something that we really felt would amplify the impact this year.
Brief also today launched its virtual auction that closes on Saturday at 9 p.m.
We're grateful for all of our generous donors that have provided some one-of-a-kind experiences to be auctioned off. And so World Oceans Day is really important for us here at Brief, and we just want to get the message out of why it should be important to every single Bahamian. One of the things that Brief, that we really have been promoting over the past years is the individual responsibility that we all as citizens, as Bahamians, should take to make a difference. Our major industry here in the Bahamas is tourism. And if you think about it, the yachting industry, the marine industry, the seafood that the tourists eat, the beaches that visitors come and visit, that's all impacted by how we conserve and protect our oceans. And so it takes not just organizations, but it also can just be you as an individual. It takes you playing your part, taking responsibility, and also just spreading awareness to your friends, your family about the importance of ocean and marine conservation.
Well, World Oceans Day gave a group of young marine scientists the opportunity to get their feet wet and jumpstart their careers with an internship at the Perry Institute for Marine Science. The Institute started its summer internship program last week to train and support students looking to develop an ocean conservation and stewardship career while building a sustainable blue economy. The summer interns will monitor ocean-based coral nurseries and restoration sites, use state-of-the-art technology to model and analyze coastal ecosystem data sets, and conduct stakeholder surveys in fishing communities. They will also survey the abundance of evasive lionfish and herbivorous fish on reefs and assess the spread and treating of the devastating stony coral tissue loss disease. The Cabinet Office announcing that the body of former Senator Audley Hanna will lie in state on Friday, June 11th in the foyer of the upper chamber from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Viewing for the public will be held from noon to 3 p.m. A state-recognized funeral for the former senator will be held on Saturday, June 12th at 10 a.m. at the New Redeemed Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. The remains will be interred in the cemetery of Mount Ethel Baptist Church in Love Hill, Andros.
Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Take your time, take your time. You sure, right? Yep.
Money shot.
You sure? All right.
Money shot.
Okay, okay. Miss.
You know Lou's a buying, right?
Oh, well, you must be getting kids' delay. Man, I ain't bring no money like that. Plus, you know you greedy.
Well, today is your lucky day.
Oh.
Check out the ZNet Shopping Network. See what deals they have on food.
Look here. Boy, Madcap got some super deals. Check it out. You got a $25 coupon for 15 and a $20 coupon for 10.
Well, Madcap it is.
All right. Hey, I rolling with you, eh?
Log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and get your deals today.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
In his final budget contribution before bowing out of frontline politics, Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament James Albury said he's a firm believer of good constituency service and engagement. Admitting that no one is perfect, he said he tried his best to address the concerns of residents, noting that he used the Capital Grant Fund and other sources to carry out a number of constituency projects.
These include infrastructure investments, such as pothole patching programs, dock repairs, and repavement exercises throughout the constituency. I have also provided and contributed funds to a number of non-government organizations and charitable groups, including the Elbow Reef Lighthouse Society, Idea Relief, and the Every Child Counts Special Education Needs Facility. Mr. Speaker, following the core belief that education, an investment in education, is an investment in our future, every year, I have undertaken a back-to-school program, including this most recent school year, where I was able to put a new electronic tablet in the hands of every first, second, and third grade student enrolled in the public schools in my constituency.
The Abaco Member of Parliament also detailed his assistance to Hurricane Dorian victims.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, I mobilized thousands of dollars to provide grocery vouchers to my constituents, both those who had to relocate to Nassau, as well as those back home in Abaco. Until my term is over, Mr. Speaker, I will continue to invest and build in my constituency to the very best of my ability.
It's time now for a check on the weather in your part of the Bahamas, and joining us in studio now is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Happy Tuesday, Basil.
Happy Tuesday to you, Altoise. And outside of our studios, we are under partly sunny skies. A warm 82 degrees is the current temperature. Relative humidity, 65%. We have easterly winds at 12 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,020.4 millibars. That's 30.12 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 82 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greentoe Key, Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 84 degrees, 80 degrees in the Berry Islands, Alisal, Bimini at 81, 81 also in Harbour Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemps, Bayside Andros, Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 82 degrees in Artistown, Cat Island, 80 also in San Salvador and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 81 in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay and Acklands, Matthewtown, Inagua, 83 degrees, the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwestern Islands tonight, southeast winds, the speeds around 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. High tide, that takes place at 7:42 this evening. In the central and southeastern islands, easterly flow 15 to 20 knots. Choppy seas at 4 to 7 feet over the ocean, and that constitute caution flags in the central and southeastern islands tonight. Now, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, extending right into Thursday, the winds will fall off a bit. East to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights down 2 to 4 feet. So we'll drop the caution flag in the northwest Bahamas tomorrow. High tide 7:54 in the morning. Low tide at 1:55 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands, southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights at 3 to 6 feet with caution flags remaining, even though we have a reduction in both the winds and seas. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It's a scroll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
Beep disinfectant spray is certified by a U.S. EPA compliant lab to kill the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Beep disinfectant spray is now available in a convenient travel-size can that travels everywhere with you. Beep for a happy, healthy home.
The man in the boat calling round Bahama land. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. Be Bohemian beer, food right over here. If you proud be Bohemian, raise your signs in the air. The man in the boat calling round Bahama land. The man in the boat and the crowd is sipping sand. 100% Bohemian owned, even foreign guys.
Available at Jimmy's Liquor Store or your favorite restaurant or liquor stores throughout the Bahamas.
Days come and days go, but each day has specials at Super Value and quality supermarkets like Crisco vegetable oil, 48-ounce bottle, $3.49. Hunt's ketchup, 32-ounce jar, $2.39. Best Yet macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4-ounce box, 2 for $1.29. Idaho potatoes, 5-pound bag, $3.39. Dana spare ribs, $2.69 per pound. If it's value you want, you really want Super Value and quality supermarkets.
Spicy meatball! Wow.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports. It was a big opening statement for Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals for Bahamian DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns. Ayton ending the game with 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 steal, and a big poster dunk in 36 minutes of play during Monday's 122-105 victory over the Nuggets. Ayton speaking on the big win.
We just stuck to the game plan and, never stopped what we thought and what we went over. We just kept pursuing, even when they scored, we just kept our discipline and, did what we have to do on our coverages.
In news from the WNBA, off to what could be considered the best start of her WNBA career in helping the Connecticut Sun match their best start in franchise history. Bahamian professional basketball player Jonquel Jones has solidified herself among the league's best players. However, this campaign will take a backseat in the coming weeks as she takes a break from league action to compete for Bosnia and Herzegovina at the 2021 FIBA European Women's Basketball Championships. The Bahamian native is aiming to help them qualify for the 2022 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, the 2024 Olympics, while at the same time leading Bosnia and Herzegovina to what will be its first Eurobasket women's title. The tournament runs from June 17th through the 27th. Will be played at 2 venues in separate countries, including France and Spain. And condolences continue to pour in on the passing of local basketball legend Peter Macaroni Gilcud, this time from the president of the Bahamas Basketball Federation, Mario Bolag. In a press release, Bolag saying that he is humbled to pay homage to the life of Peter Macaroni Gilcud, as the Cud always reminded us that there is no one like the Macaroni, not to mention his engaging personality, adding that he will always be a basketball icon, but memories of his total contributions to nation building must not be overlooked. He was a pioneering spirit that never diminished. The basketball aspect of Peter Gilcutt is unquestionable and indisputable. He's a Hall of Famer in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, adding the BBF has lost one of its favorite sons, but they will continue to celebrate the life and contributions of the Cut for the exuberance that only he could portray. He was a sterling example to basketball players who he worked with and labored himself in becoming a fine basketball product and leader. Again, Peter Gilcutt passed away last week Friday at the age of 67. That's been a look at sports. Check on weather when we return.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
There's a pandemic going around. We have to work hard to stay around. Keep yourself and your family safe. And thank God for amazing grace. There's a solution you must choose. It will help me and help you too. It's available everywhere. Don't take too long, I'll meet you there. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. It's protecting me, protecting you. It's protecting the country too. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. It's protecting me, protecting you. It's protecting the country too. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated.
Make your appointment today at vax.gov.bs. That's vax.gov.bs. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with Bahamas Information Services.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Check out the deals Cantor General Store has for you. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com, select the island of your choice, and shop anywhere, anytime.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocol. Restaurants may operate utilizing curbside pickup, drive-through, takeaway, or delivery. Any establishment who allows the entry of any person not wearing a mask is liable upon a summary conviction to a fine of $500. I am Ambassador Ashanti Ruko of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be your own.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper, Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we take you to our satellite picture, and in the tropics, we're looking at this little area of cloudiness approaching the central America. That the hurricane center is giving it about a 20% chance of becoming a sort of low-pressure system within the next couple of days. So we'll keep our eyes on it. No problem for us here in the Bahamas, but certainly it will be moving inland over Central America, and it will be a rain-producing system as well. And then we have this mid to upper level low that's spinning just to the east of the Bahamas, and wrapping around that is a little trough extending north through south across the islands, and that could support 1 or 2 passing showers during the course of the night and tomorrow. Our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, low temperature down to 75 degrees, and tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny, but 1 or 2 spotty showers as a result of the presence of that mid to upper level troughing. 86 degrees for the high temperature, and the extended weather forecast, a couple of passing showers on Wednesday. Thursday, things dry out quite nicely, and that will carry right through the weekend. Beautiful weekend shaping up with lots of sunshine during the daytime. Nighttime temperatures on the warm side in the upper 70s. Alto.
Thanks so much, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information source, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire news team, thanks so much, Bahamas, for tuning in, and good night.
Thank you.